Everybody, welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. Welcome to the cabin. I'm a bit out of breath. I've been working hard this morning. Matter of fact, we've got, I'll tell you what, let me tell you about the topic and then we'll get into this too, because my life is nuts right now. I am not a conspiracy theorist at all when it comes to eBay stuff, but I posted something the other day and the response I got was a little crazy. And then two things that happened to me today again has got me believing this, and I want to know what you think. Let's go take a look. So first of all, before I get into this topic, and it was honestly, it was something I was going to tease some of my buddies with because of something they said, and now I'm like, maybe they have a good point. But before I get into that, I just have got to say I have put myself in a position that is just, whew, man. If you recall a few weeks back, a few months back, I guess it's not been months yet, I said I need to sell everything that was in that trailer. I had some friends took the trailer, used it to help them move. And I'm like, I don't want to put anything back in there. I'm not having that trailer be a death pile for my stuff. I'm going to sell all this stuff off live. I've sold a ton off live, more than we have in a long time. But there is so much stuff. And so much of it is eBayable that isn't really good for a live. You know, it's not like somebody's like, oh, yeah, I want that. You know, it's not something that tears at the heartstrings or something like that. It's just kind of stuff that you need to sell on eBay, if you know what I mean. And so now I'm contemplating moving some of it back in there and plowing through the rest. But I've bought so much lately because I get nervous. Does anybody else get nervous? I don't get to source as much in the wintertime around here, or at all, unless I, force myself to. So I like to have a good pile of stuff that I can list. And I have just kept buying. And the season keeps going on, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down just yet for us. And so I've got my wife up there working, my daughter is up there working. They've been listing stuff this morning, taking pictures. I even asked Jess, who normally just handles the live selling. She has been putting listings up for me on eBay, drafts. I've been in here this morning. I've listed a few things myself. As soon as this video is over, I'm going to list some more. We are overwhelmed, and I feel like I've put myself in this position, but at least some things are headed out of here. Let's go grab those. Actually, I was headed back there, but I know I moved them over here. These right here, some Lionel ornaments for Christmas. I paid $5 for these, and I wasn't super excited about it because it's kind of a big box. Sell-through rate's not great. And when I went to look them up, I was convinced that I was right to begin with. Probably shouldn't have got them, but you know what? 5 into $16.95 plus shipping. I'm not losing money on it, but it's not exactly where I want to be for a bigger item that doesn't have a good sell-through rate, but still a decent, I don't know, probably $7 profit on that. All right, to get to the topic, my buddies Jimmy and Keith, Jimmy Old School Flips and Keith Vintage Sport Flips, they started a new podcast, Buy It All podcast, I think is what it is, and they were talking about cancellations, and I was like, I don't know if I would do that. Here is a Cremo cologne for men. There's a little bit of gunk on that. There was a sticker up there, and this one we bought for, I don't remember, it was super cheap, I know that. I don't think the sale's come out yet. $25 plus shipping, so maybe $2 or $3 or something like that on that, plus shipping, of course. And so they were talking about this on their podcast, and it must be a thing, because I brought it up the other day. I said I had more cancellations. There was one day I had one sale, which for us is just, I mean, to have put as much work as we do into this, and to have one sale that day. Now the days around it were just fine, so whatever. It just is what it is, and you keep moving. But I had 3 cancellations, 2 of them that day and 1 of them the night before, and I had some the previous week, and then yesterday I had 2 more cancellations. I didn't see them till today, but they popped up. I'm like, what the heck? That's what's like, I've had 7 cancellations in less than a week. That is crazy to me. And so when I was listening to their podcast, they're talking about, what do you do if somebody cancels an order? And they're like, just ship it. I'm like, that doesn't seem like I would want to do that. If they want to cancel it, I'm going to cancel it. I don't want to get a return or whatever. And they mentioned something about, printing the label off. And I've heard a lot of people say this, and this seems to make sense, because I posted something on Facebook the other day. Somebody had bought something Friday night. I don't ship on Saturdays. And I'm like, I'll ship it out on Monday. I have 2 days shipping, right? 2 days, which means I could ship it out Tuesday, actually, but I usually don't. So And a lot of people were like, you know, just ship it out immediately. That way you don't get the cancellation. Print out the label immediately. That way you don't get a cancellation. I'm like, maybe I've got to move towards this. And some people have even said that this is something eBay is doing. That eBay is even, I don't know if this is true, by the way. So this is complete speculation on somebody else's account here, or behalf, I should say. But it all got me thinking about this. They're like, some of those cancellations are coming directly from eBay because they've presented a different option to somebody after they've purchased the item that's cheaper, and eBay is canceling the order. Now, I have not heard that from anybody as far as this is what's actually going on, but I'm like, man, something's going on. 7 cancellations in, I think, 6 days. So something is up. So if that's the case, whether it's something's up or nothing's up, and this is just kind of an aberration, I'm starting to think maybe I do need to print that label out. And sometimes I can't, you know, I'm not home, you're not home, you're working, you're doing whatever. But maybe I need to go on, like I'm going to do like 15, 16 sales today, but I have 20 something that have sold. I could, you know, I would do those tomorrow. But maybe that's what I need to do to kind of combat this a little bit. And some people are like, why would eBay do that? You know, they're losing money on that. They're getting a cheaper, you know, well, it's to bring back customers, because customers need, they want to think in their head, this is where I need to go to get the cheapest stuff I can get. And there's a lot of competition out there, live selling, all kinds of stuff like that. eBay Live, it's starting to pop up all the time on my feed and my alerts and stuff like that. So this is an interesting world we're living in. I'm just curious, are your cancellations up as much as mine are? I'm not talking about returns here. I'm talking about canceling right after they order within, you know, within hours. It's kind of nuts. This next one, I'm going to read a comment I got today, or not comment, it was a message on eBay. This one came from, I'm getting better at Barbies, y'all. I'm still not very good. You know, that's Skipper. I don't know what it is, that's 60s or something. And it has something in it that's not for it. Maybe that's not Skipper, maybe I don't know. At any rate, $54 plus shipping. I bought this one in that private pick that we've done, the one with the trolls, if you remember. So that sold for $54 plus shipping. Let me read you this message that got me thinking along these lines and thinking maybe these guys are right. Just don't accept the cancellation and ship it out and say it was shipped. I'm like, well, I'm not going to lie about it, but you know, I think Keith said, you know, if you go to your storage unit and you pick it up and you bring it back, it's like, man, this is just not right. I'm just going to ship the thing out. And they say they've done okay with it. I'd be afraid of getting cancellations, or excuse me, returns. It's like, I tried to cancel this, and then it's like, I don't want to deal with it. But anyway, here's the message I got today. It was about a purse. I've changed my mind on this bag. I saw another one listed. I paid for this cheaper than the price I paid for this bag, and since the order has not been shipped yet, I would like to have a refund. I'm like, okay. So there you go. Now that was one that was, it's not like I'm delayed in shipping or anything. They just said they noticed that it wasn't shipped, so they clearly saw another bag. So eBay is putting that in front of them, giving that option. You know, eBay needs to take care of the buyers, no doubt. They want it to be a great place, but this is a real inconvenience, in my opinion, for us sellers like that, especially if you have your stuff off site and you're traveling to go get stuff. So I'm just curious, and I want to see where this thing goes. We've talked about this before, and people have had concerns about this before when they introduced this whole thing, you know, where they're presenting better options and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't think I like this very much. And you would think it's pulling money out of their own pocket as well, right? So I don't know, maybe it's, you know, it's a condition issue and stuff. You know, you list things for different prices because everything's not identical, even if it is identical condition wise. We just got a bunch of American Girl Bitty Baby stuff listed, and this one right here sold pretty quick. First sale from the batch, and you'll be seeing a few more here. I think this is it. I'm just gonna double check. Yeah, it looks like that little wagon. That sold pretty good, $49 plus shipping on that one right there. Sometimes I think to myself, if this thing was fully implemented, where does it end? It's not the buy box on Amazon, but it gets awful close. And if they're doing it after the fact, before the fact, if it's being sent a message like 24 hours later, I mean, there's all kinds of ways they could do this stuff. Bella Taylor, I don't like any of it. Bella Taylor, little vintage looking American flag, stars and stripes kind of look to it. And I listed this one fairly cheap and then sent an offer out pretty quick. $16.10 plus shipping, and it sold pretty quick. And like I said, I put it on a video the other day because it's been happening to me, and it wasn't even the topic of the video, and I expected that there would be comments about the topic, but there was way more topics or way more questions about cancellations. American Girl Bitty Baby 1995 diaper bag set. That set sold for $35 plus shipping. See, I told you you'd be seeing more of it, and you'll be seeing even more. And look, I'm not complaining too much. You know, I can handle a cancellation every now and again, but it's averaging one a day lately. All right, I believe, let's just make sure we get the right one here. These action play sets, sold one of them, not two, but I'm gonna get them both out and put the one back that's not the right one. I'm looking for a battle action set. This one right here is the one that sold. It's got some damage to the box. And then it'll go for a bunch, $15.95 plus shipping. And I will go put this one. Actually, look, now I'm not convinced that that's... Are they identical? I think we had them different listings because there's something missing or something out of one. So I'll double check it real quick. All right, 2 listings. So when you have difference in conditions, you know, you got to make sure that you list them separate. You can't do multi-quantity, and then people will be like, but the box on this one, whatever, so you got to be careful. But $15.95 plus ship. My 30% off sale is back on, and which means that these start to sell. You know what? Scooby-Doo's over here. I don't know why I always do that. I got more Scoobies than about anything. We don't make much money on these. We make a little, but they are multi-quantity. Hold on. I don't always put my multi-quantity stuff on that 30% off sale because it's multi-quantity. Of course, it's been around for a long time. And this will be around for a very long time. But I do put these on there. People like to add them on to stuff. And I am literally making like $2 on these every time I sell them. And that's about it. But you know what? There was hundreds of them. And they're just easy little add-on sales. I'll take them. I actually asked this question. I probably should put a hat on. My hair's a mess. The other day on the podcast, the Trash Cash podcast, and I asked the guys, what would you do if you got a cancellation? Because they had said, just ship it. And they're like, no, I would cancel it because I don't want to return. And I get that. But I am curious, has anybody changed their methods out there? Has anybody just said, forget it? You know, I'm not going to just cancel all these, or I'm going to ship them out and not cancel them. If you have 2 days shipping, do you print the thing off at the beginning? What are your practices, and have they changed over, say, the last 6 months? I would like to get so much sold quickly and get back to using List Easier. And matter of fact, there's something today we've got that I'm going to use it for, even though we're not ready for it yet. My system isn't set up, but we're going to use it. Silkworms High Fashion. The reason I'd like to get back to doing that and to clearing out so much stuff. I have bought more this year than I've ever bought before. My cost of goods this year will be probably over $25,000, which is more than it's ever been. This jacket here I bought on Dibdit, I believe, and that's kind of why I would like to clear everything out, because I kind of want to source over there on Dibdit a little bit this Q4 when it's not easy to source. But man, I have so much stuff made in Korea. How cool is this? It's got shoulder pads. I just thought it looked cool on a show. I bought it. And I don't even know what I paid for it. But I looked up comps. I'm like, holy moly. This thing sold for $56.95 plus shipping. I guarantee you I didn't pay more than $5 on a live show for it. So kind of cool. I'd like to get over there and source again a little bit more. Which means I've got to clear out inventory, which we're doing on 30% off sale. We're doing it on lives. We're listing more. We're putting the prices at a competitive price point, especially if people are being shown cheaper items out there. Normally I list at the market or just a tiny bit above. Now I'm listing at the market and just a tiny bit below sometimes. Not on everything, but on things that are a little slower sellers. These have been around a while. Jeans, we used to have them down there. Now we have them up here because I really don't like picking up jeans too much. And if I do, I usually sell them off in lots over there on Shop Collins or on Dibdit. So $38.29. These are in good condition. I used to get way more money for these, but they've never ever sold. Maybe that's a weird size, that 29. I am actually a 29, and they're hard to find. I'm kind of short. And I'm not a 38.29 though. Anyway, they sold for $13.96 plus shipping. That was on the 30% off sale, and I'm glad they are gone. And if I'm never going to give up on jeans completely, but I don't think I'll sell those type of jeans anymore. I have told the story though. I used to sell a ton of jeans. When I used to drive the bus, when I was, like I said before, a teacher, I was a coach, and I would drive the bus when I wasn't coaching. So baseball is a spring sport, and we'd have, you know, conditioning and stuff in the fall and in the winter and in the, you know, as we led up to spring and even in the summer. But on days we didn't have conditioning, I would drive the bus for other teams, volleyball team, football team, whatever, and I'd make a little extra money. I would drop the team off at the venue. I probably shouldn't have done this. And I would take the bus over to the nearest Goodwill in whatever city we were in, and I would source. I would bring giant black trash bags so people didn't think I was a nut having this stuff in the car, in the bus. And I would source, and I'd put it right behind me in that first seat. And I did pretty good. Well, that was about the time I met my future bride, and I was like, you know what? I'm selling a lot of jeans lately. This is back in the days to get jeans for $2.99 at Goodwill. Every single pair of jeans was $2.99 around here. So I made a bunch of money on jeans. And every dime I made on jeans, since I knew I was going to ask my wife to marry me, I put it all away until I had enough to buy her a ring, and then I bought her a ring. Then I don't want to sell jeans anymore. But I still sell them from time to time. When people ask me why I don't wear a ring, I probably should now. I used to have an excuse. I coached baseball, and I would hit thousands of fungos a day. Infield practice, outfield practice. I gotta find this here. Cassette case. And I think it's this one. I'd sell these because I like them. Not because they're worth selling, to be honest with you. This is a Gemini. I think this is the right one. I'm gonna have to double check this one. Actually, I don't think this is the right one, so I'll have to find a different one. I'll show it to you in a second. This is the right one. I usually don't pick this style up here, which this is Conductor Series. I almost never pick these up. However, sometimes I'll buy out entire, you know, if they're full of cassettes, and then I'll get this, and it's like, what do I do with that? I'm gonna sell it, right? Well, this one didn't sell, and it finally did at 30% off for just under 10 bucks plus shipping. Not terribly worth it, but I'm not throwing it away when I can make a few bucks on it. So I was the head varsity coach, and I also coached the JV team for a few years. When I couldn't find enough help, I would, you know, have to really support the JV team or the middle school team. So there were years where I was coaching 3 teams at once, and we did repetition stuff. I would hit fungos constantly, and I would get blisters from that wedding ring right there. And so I put it up in a little case, and I never put it back on. My wife doesn't care. She said, you can have him. I'm kidding. She wouldn't say that. But that's why I don't, and maybe I'll have to start doing it again. There was a time last year where I was doing so good on Veer bags that I would pay up for them. Bag like this, I'd definitely pay like $3 for it. And new with tags, I'd pay up for more than that. Now it's kind of cooled a little. Still good enough for me to pick up this bag for $1 or $2. $16.95. Plus shipping. They're easy to ship, at least. What? Baby mom didn't want to be on the video. Not today, she said. She doesn't look good enough today. Oh my goodness. All right, Mickey Mouse shirt. Here we go. Kennington. She was cutting up a watermelon through the rinds over the fence back there. Kennington, California. This is an old Mickey Mouse shirt. Check that out. And that one sold for okay money, $20.97 for that one, plus shipping. And of course, I find that a lot of that stuff ends up in Southern California, and that one's going to Redondo Beach. And of course, I was a California boy, and so that's kind of cool to send that stuff back there. However, a lot of it is going to East Asia. I have seen a slowing of that a little bit lately. I'm curious if any of you have as well. Ever list something and think this is going to take a month of Sundays to sell, if it ever does sell, and then it sells quickly? That's what this is. Boys Senior League Softball. Boys Senior League Softball. World Series 2001. That one sold very quickly, just with a 5% offer for $16.10 plus shipping. And I almost didn't even list it. Selling some clothing today. 1, 2, 3, 4 so far. And some clothing accessories as well. I think this is the right one. Just listed these. These sold quick. A Nike golf belt. And I think I bought this over on David as well. And that one sold for $25.95. Size 36. Plus shipping. Can't get an animal in here all day long. And Reagan shows up. And there's an animal. No name. Now I'm getting chubby. All right. What's sold?
Lori and Todd both got an animal band.
2 of them. 1 for Lori, 1 for Todd. Haven't had a sale out of here in like a week. So really nice to have Reagan in with her New York Jets jersey on.
They're losers.
All of our teams except for Bubba's lost this week. The Rams lost. The Titans lost.
Green Bay
lost. The Jets lost. We all kind of root for the Redskins or the Commanders, but none of us is our favorite team. Did your team win? What would your team be? The Bengals? No?
Maybe
The Jaguars? Anyway, thank you to both of you.
Bye, and don't forget to get your stickers at commonwealthpicker.com.
Oh, that's normally the end of her video, but I forgot. The honey order is coming. We have reconfigured it because we don't want to ship it out over a pound. We're going to make it smaller and much cheaper, and those will be here soon. So thank you, Ray. Sometimes jackets like these can surprise you. This one I would think would not be a really high dollar jacket, and some of the other ones that I think would be aren't. This one was pretty darn good, y'all. Sold for $66.50 plus shipping. Y'all, Mike Metco sent us something. Mike is absolutely one of the nicest folks in all of reselling. Mike Metco Meetups. Poker Dude also sent us a poker chip. He sells over there on Divdit and is a really awesome guy. Sells awesome stuff too. And we appreciate both of you. Check it out, y'all. Look at that. Mike Metco sent me a pineapple hat. At least it's the right way, Mike. I appreciate you very much. And for those of you going to that East Tennessee meetup, it's like starts tomorrow or something. So hopefully you get to meet Mike. And if you are there, take a minute out and find Mike Metco. He is definitely an awesome guy. All right, I got to get back to work here because I've got a lot of stuff I need to get sold. So anyway, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for all the comments and your feedback. I appreciate it. I love this channel more than any other channel, although you can go subscribe to the Commonwealth Picker channel as well, or to Garage Sale Nation if you like shorts, I suppose. But we do appreciate you very, very much on the Commonwealth Flipper channel, and I can't wait to see you next.